match in there.
Wow.
But yeah, that I think that's what we got. Like the success of that came from combining, Mike Tyson's audience and the older generation of nostalgia, and Mike Tyson making a comeback, combined with like this younger generation of social media and content, and like me pumping it out to this influencer YouTube audience. So obviously it was super successful.
You did amazing, man. Congrats. You're doing your thing, and you're doing great stuff. It's fun to watch.
Thank you, brother. It's funny, bro. All my coaches are like, man, you boys from Ohio are built different. And then
it, baby. Ohio.
I'm starting to believe it. I think it's because they put, like, I don't know if you grew up drinking milk all the time.
Dude, whole milk, like gallons a week.
I would literally be drinking milk with my meals. Like for dinner, like, and to think about doing that now, it's like the grossest thing in the world to me. But
we got so many hormones pumped in our body now.
Facts. It's diet's a super important part. I kind of want to bring my mom up. And
you have to.
I have
to. Especially talking about growing up in Ohio. We got to hear it.
Mom,
that would be fun.
I don't know, Mom. She probably doesn't know how to use it, but Mom, I invited you to be a speaker. Oh, there we go. Hey,
what do you mean I don't know how to use it? Come on.
Let's go. How are you, Mom? I missed you.
I miss you too, honey, but drinking milk is not what made you who you are.
So what do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's your amazing genes, your familial genes, and your mindset. I think, everyone can eat right and do the right things, working out, but you have to have a very strong willed mind. And I think your genetics and your family history, not just me, not just your dad, but going back generations, has fed into that. And I'm seeing it more than ever. I don't think I would have realized that had I not, had not you and Logan gotten to where you've gotten. Like, I'm so impressed by your mindset. It's crazy.
Mrs. Paul, this is Lewis. I'm from Delaware, Ohio. So
Lewis, I know who you are.
We're cut from a similar cloth, and I appreciate you as a human being in the world. And I know both your sons.
So much.
It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch them grow and do amazing things. Obviously, they haven't been perfect, and they've made mistakes, but they've been overcoming them and growing, which has been amazing. I'm curious, Pam, would you share one thing about Jake that most people don't know about him growing up that really, maybe made you proud about the way he acted growing up, about the character he had, about maybe it was an event, it was a moment that people don't know about Jake, but he really showed his personality in a way that inspired you as a mother? What would that be?
So I keep getting all this event has caused the groupies to come out and keep spamming calling me, but so I'm sorry about that if it cuts out at all. But so many people ask me this question. They literally want to hear about those, those character events or the funny things that no one knows. But I can tell you the very first time that I was just amazed by my kiddo Jake was he was in elementary school, and I was called by the teacher up to thank me and to praise me because my kiddo Jake was befriending the autistic and Down's syndrome kids and being nice to them when others were not. And Jake, was one of the popular kids. It wasn't like he was the kid in the corner, of course. He's the class clown. Everyone knew who he was. Everything he did was people paid attention to. And he was being nice and befriending the kid with Down syndrome. And that is to this day something that Jake would do. Uh, people don't want to accept that about Jake. They want to think he's so many different things than that. But he's got the kindest, biggest heart, and he loves the underdog. And it made me very proud.
That's cool. And I'm curious in his adult life. And then I won't hijack the conversation anymore. But since we got you here, Pam, I think it's amazing to hear. I'm curious since he's moved to LA and kind of his adult life, the start of his adult life. What's the event, the accomplishment, the piece of content, whatever it is, the thing that you're most proud of or most inspired by, whether it be his acting, I think it was what was that? Which kids channel was it on? I can't remember.
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
Whether it was him being on Disney after, being an actor out here, doing movies, doing TV, doing vlogging, doing boxing, like music videos. What's the thing that you're most inspired by and most surprised by that he has taken on and actually accomplished that?
Okay, so most people would think, oh, my kid was on, Disney and that was the biggest accomplishment of their life, but that is so far from it. Yes, so proud when he got on Disney. That was amazing. But if you look at the past 6-7 years, Jake has amazed me so much in his business acumen and how he can talk and how he has learned business and how he is so smart in so many different realms, and he can take on so many different facets of life and then do them all very, very well. He is definitely the Capricorn goat on the side of the hill that can hold on no matter what comes at him. And I think it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you react. And that is what has impressed me the most about Jake.
Thank you, Mom.
Love that.
Wow.
Nice.
That was so sweet. Oh my God.
It's the truth.
Hey, I have a question. What do you think? My mom, just so everyone knows, my mom obviously is super supportive of the boxing stuff, but when she gets really scared when I'm talking shit to all these people online. She goes, Jake, I'm worried about your safety. I'm worried about your safety, like all this stuff. And funny story, basically when I was talking shit to McGregor, I got like so many death threats, like thousands of people saying like the Irish mafia is after you and blah, 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 blah. And, my mom was all worried, and I think you're still worried, but I think this will help calm you down, Mom. But, but I wasn't worried. I was like, man, like this is the fight game and people should be able to talk shit. Like that's what makes this hype. If you're scared of talking shit, or if people can't, take a joke on the chin, then they shouldn't be in this sport. But we've heard like from deep down in the business people in Conor McGregor's camp that they actually like love the shit talk and are super excited about it, and obviously have some are interested in the business side of us fighting. So they weren't too bothered by it. But I know, Mom, you get all scared about boxing, and especially on fight nights. I think you're probably the most nervous person in the room, hands down.
You think?
Hey, Jake, when do you think you'll be Connor will actually do the fight with you sometime? And if so, when do you think that'll be done by?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're talking to his team, and there's high levels of interest. They want me to get more fights under my belt, as do I. The narrative is always there. I truly believe that I could beat him, and it'll be a massive fight. And at the end of the day, this is a business. But I think it happens in the next 36 months. I think me getting some more W's under my belt, knocking out Ben Askren, who's a prominent MMA fighter, taking on hopefully Dylan Dennis, who is Conor McGregor's like best friend basically, and who has been talking shit to me. He is scared. Clearly, he's like, I wanted to fight him. I wanted to fight him for this match, but he was blaming like a knee injury. So after I knock out Ben, we'll see if he actually takes the fight. But
Wow.
Nate
You think
Diaz,
within 3 years? You think within 3 years the fight will happen with you and Conor?
for sure.
Wow.
I mean,
Let's go.
as long as he keeps, he has to win right now. He got knocked out in his last fight, so if he doesn't get some W's under his belt, it's not going to be as hype, and it'll sort of look like we're just doing it for a money play, which is not what I want. Like, I genuinely think I'm going to beat him, and I think he's the perfect opponent to talk shit back and forth, to create content, so on and so forth. So, I definitely
Do you think
see it happening.
And do you think that would be the number one on pay-per-view?
I think we would, yeah, be in the top
Yeah.
5, hands down,
Oh, yeah.
regardless. I mean,
Top five.
Jake can't say it, but the answer is yes.
Let me jump in here. So, there's another important thing just to touch on, which many people aren't really aware of. But hi Pam, by the way.
Hi, Paulo.
Hi. It's great to have you up here. Pam has her party hat on, which means she's in her first week to Clubhouse. So everybody in the audience, make sure that you follow Pam, vlog Mom Pam, and check her out on YouTube as well. But Jake's first boxing event, which was a pay-per-view boxing event, which was the first ever influencer pay-per-view boxing event. There's 2 big historical moments in there. One is the Jake and Deji fight had more concurrent views than the Logan and KSI portion of the fight. That's number 1. And number 2, we had over 1 million pay-per-view buys online, which in the history of boxing, that's the number 1 purchased online pay-per-view boxing event in history. And we had over 1 million purchases in queue on a platform that crashed. The other thing is, for that event, because it was a YouTube product and the event wasn't available for iOS, so it would have had millions more that had purchased that fight. So I think it's important to look at the Triller numbers in aggregate, internet and television. It was, I think, 1.7 million buys, something around there. And that makes it top 10. But in terms of the internet, Jake's first pay-per-view fight is the number 1 purchased boxing event in the history of boxing on the internet for pay-per-view. And what I also will say is Jake, in my opinion, is definitely the savior of boxing. And by bringing the contact sport to the youth, it's like the adults that grew up with the Rocky movie franchise. Boxing is a very exciting sport to participate in, hit the bag, work out, jump rope. You really feel part of a movement. I believe what Jake will do for boxing is not what UFC came in and did to boxing about 20 years ago. UFC choked out boxing, and I think by Jake's presence and performance that he gave with Nate Robinson, and Jake has a very special gift and talent. Jake can move his feet and move his hands. Jake has brought excitement back to boxing and will definitely knock out the UFC MMA. In my opinion, I'm bullish. I bet big on Jake's last fight, and I'll be betting again on this fight. So anyways, I just wanted to highlight those historical moments, which say a lot. So I'm Paolo, and I'm done speaking.
Jake, I'm curious, what do you think is your greatest skill right now? Your athletic ability, your boxing skills, your ability to speak and communicate and trash talk, or your ability to make content go viral? Of those 4 things, what are you the best at right now?
I would say it's still my ability to like speak, market, and make content. Just because that's what I've done since I was 12 years old. You know, like I remember being 12 years old, making a YouTube channel with my brother, and we were running around filming crazy shit, pranking people, and understanding how to go viral. There was a platform at the time called like iFunny. I'm sure some of the people here might remember iFunny, but it was basically like somewhat similar to like Reddit. It was just like cool stuff. And when I was 12 years old, me and my brother would sit there for like hours at a time posting our links to YouTube videos for like people to see them. And you could only make like 9 posts a day, but your post would like be seen by anyone anywhere from like 1 to like 50 people, depending if it was a good post or not. So I would make the maximum number of accounts that I could on iFunny, and so would my brother. And so we'd make like 10 accounts times 9 posts and put like 90 posts up a day each. So 180 posts, sitting there like hustling our little YouTube videos at 12 and 14 years old. And they would start to get all these views from doing that. So I don't know. I've just been doing the content marketing thing for a while. But I would say quickly my boxing ability is becoming one of my most prominent skills, hands down.
And what's the training look like right now? Is it 2 hours a day? Is it 5 hours a day? Is it depend on when the fight's coming up? What's the process?
Yeah, it's a really fluid schedule. It's not like set in stone, which is the beauty of it. We sort of have this science down for 3 fights now that we're following this game plan that's clearly worked and brought me into fight day feeling like $1,000,000. But sometimes it's 2 times a day. You know, we're jogging 5-6 miles. We're doing sprints, nonstop sprints. We're hitting the mitts. You know, today I did 11 rounds on the mitts, shadow boxing, hitting the heavy bag, speed bag, jumping rope. And then I'm sparring anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week against MMA guys, specifically now because I'm obviously fighting an MMA fighter in Ben Askren. And they just have a different style of fighting. You know, they have this more wild, unorthodox way where they put their head down and throw different punches that you're not typically used to seeing. So yeah, doing all that stuff. I'm doing CrossFit training. I'm doing light weights, and the recovery is a huge part of it. So I'm doing yoga. I'm stretching. I'm in the ice bath sometimes twice a day. Hot baths, sauna, Theraguns, cupping, the whole 9 yards. We really have it down to a science at this point. But
Love that.
It's a lot. It's literally a full-time job, and I think I've done it all at this point. I feel like I'm saying that humbly, but like I've dabbled in different things from business to wrestling, growing up playing football, doing YouTube, and I would say the 2 hardest things I've ever done was vlogging every single day for 800 days, and then just boxing, period. Another interesting thing is like people don't even really realize this, but sleep is like a part of your training. So you literally have to force yourself to get 9 to 10 hours of sleep a day because you're tearing down your body so much that you have to get that recovery in the deep sleep.
Wow, the fact that you touched sleep, that's
yeah.
Thank you, Jake. Tank, go for it. By the way, Jake,
Yeah.
you Tank, right?
No, I don't think he knows who I am. It's all good though.
Owns the three of the dopest meme pages on Instagram, hands down.
Bro, I've seen your page, Influencers in the Wild, bro. It's the
Yeah.
Hey,
we were talking about meme dealers.
bro, I think me and my friends, whenever I'm out in public, like about to film content or something, I'm like, we all look around. We're like, all right, let's make sure we don't end up on Influencers in the Wild.
Yo, just do me a favor. Get one of your boys to step about 100 feet out of the shot and capture you guys doing something nuts. You'll wind up on that page. We'll act like this conversation never happened.
Okay,
And it'll crush. It'll crush.
How did
It's funny
that
because
start? Like, how did that page start? Like, because it is this funny thing. Like, it's so crazy, and this is why I love the internet so much, and the internet's undefeated. But it's like, I was literally, I don't know, it was probably 2 years ago. I was just starting to see so many fucking people make content in public, and I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like, our whole entire world is shifting. You're literally seeing these people make TikToks or YouTube videos, and like, I'm just like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, you just have a generation of people that are real comfortable doing wild shit in public now. And I'm older. I'm 40, and it came from two things. One, I shot a video with this. The account is called A Piece by Guy, and he just does like weird shit. Like there's a video of him peeling a hot dog like a string cheese and eating it, and there's a video of him giving the finger to his friend back and forth across the street like for 30 seconds. That video had like 50 million views. He just does weird shit. So we pretended that we were stuck in a Chinese finger trap on 8th Avenue in New York City. And I'm like 250 pounds, big dude. He's a little guy. It looked like people were just looking at us like, what are these people doing? But the video killed. And I feel stupid shooting content in public too. So I saw people shooting content. I was like, they probably feel stupid too. So let me make this account to make fun of myself. And then it fucking blew up. It's like the biggest thing I've ever been a part of. I was shooting stuff from my page, Tank Sinatra. And listen, dude, I'm laughing at them a little bit, sure, but I'm also laughing with them, you know?
No, right. That's the beauty of it, is it's like funny to make fun of them sort of, but then you're guilty of it as well. So like,
well, everybody is. That's the thing. Like, you see somebody out taking a picture in public. If my mom takes a picture, she's thinking, how many likes is this going to get on Instagram? Is it going to get 7, or is it going to do really well and get 12? Like, everyone just thinks social media first. But I was just listening to you talk about your schedule, and I didn't know you were posting on iFunny back then. I just feel like people, like, I was listening to Mr. Beast on here a couple of weeks ago, and he was painting this picture. He's 20 something years old, and he was telling the story about the video of the biggest firework in the world. And he was talking about organizing cranes and getting, materials from firework suppliers. And I was like, this guy would be successful no matter what he's doing. He's a fucking business owner, period. He's organizing $1 million, the video budget was like 700,000. I was like, this guy is like a network in himself. So Jake, to hear you, say that you were gaming the system, I just think people don't realize how much work goes into getting attention, and figuring out the science of it. And not only that, the time of it, making multiple different accounts and posting 9 times a day on them. People don't think about that. They just think you got lucky and that's it. They don't ever think past that.
People don't view you being a YouTuber as a job. They just see these kids who are making videos, and it's looking like they're running around with their heads cut off, and they're making.
But the videos have to get made.
Exactly, and
yeah,
that's why I compare being a YouTuber to being as hard as being a professional boxer. It's the same. It's different, obviously, but it's the same level of like dedication, time involved, and just mental toughness and grind nonstop. But it's funny you mentioned the sort of network thing about Mr. Beast, because you hit the nail on the head with these digital stars and influencers are run the whole gamut, A to Z. They're the producer, they're the content director, they're the marketer, they're the videographer, they're the editor. And Paulo, actually, when I was probably 18, was the first person that I saw who turned this into like a theory. Paulo, I don't know if you want to speak more on that, because you were literally like, you came to me with a chart and you were like, do you know why you're so valuable? And I was like, I don't know, Paulo, I'm just 18 year old. And you're like, oh, you're the network, you're the marketer, you're the filmer, you're the producer, you're like, you had this whole thing figured out 7 years ago or 6 years ago now. All right, thanks,
Classic.
Paul.
Yeah,
He might-
yo, Pete.
He might be
Posting
gone.
a story. Yeah, look, I don't think you were 18. I think you were 17. And, I came out of the traditional world and, before this came to life and, to take it one step further, Jake's also a visionary and he's entrepreneurial. Jake created his own network. Jake has always been making people famous. Jake is, who paved the way for people like Mr. Beast to follow in his footsteps. But if we look at historically, to build an audience, a network needed all of these parts of the supply chain: the writer, the producer, creative producer, segment producer, location scout, permit, wardrobe, hair, makeup, editor, music composer. And what blew my mind when I got involved in the space really intimately 8 years ago now is I looked at what Jake and them were doing, and they were doing all of those things in real time.